All right, this is episode 3 of Saving Jewel. I've taken the rewinder off, and this is what is underneath. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to check the flywheel key before I pull the cord on this. And there's a lot of debris up here. I don't know if that's the beginning of a mouse nest or just a typical collection of debris. But if you'll notice, there's the coil, and the coil wire is almost disconnected. See all that silver part? This little guy right there is supposed to be pushed up on that. So there may be enough where this mower was shutting off when they would let go of the engine brake, but maybe not. But I will address that in a minute. I wanted you to see this linkage, and look how much tension is on that. It's like way too much tension. This should be just, it should just wiggle around kind of very easy, like in my last video on Imogene. She was racing because it wasn't able to slow down because the coil was too big and it was hitting that. This is the original coil, so that should be fine, but I've got to get all this out of there and check the flywheel key. So let's get started. Let's have some fun. Sit back, relax. All right, here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is get this tank off of here. It's got to come off at some point. That's the main screw. That's a 1/2 inch. Let me get my 3/8 out now. This is the one I just put in a few minutes ago to make sure that if this tank wasn't damaged or the manifold or whatever wasn't broken. And I don't think that it is, so this will now slip out. Always keep that. That's what keeps your tank from breaking when you install it. So now I'm just wiggling this to get it off. You can see the little plastic retaining clip that holds the washer in is coming off, but that's okay. I got to get all this stuff off of here. So now that I've got the tank out this far, I've got to make an L turn. So that's down and then this way, and then it'll come off. Okay, so there's my old tank. Let me see how bad this bulb. Okay, the bulb isn't too bad. So I'm going to drain this oil out of there, fuel out of there. I'm not going to do that right now. You don't want to finish showing you this. I've got to pull this rubber gasket off of here and the retaining clip. And then once I get that off, I'm going to grab the end of the manifold and try to wiggle it. And it's solid. It doesn't wiggle at all, so that's good. I'm going to slip this back after I brush the debris off into the throat of that carburetor. I'll be back in a second. Hang on. I didn't want to lose that washer and that clip. So now this linkage all has to come off because it's all in the wrong spot. So I'm going to go ahead and take this end off and then try and free this from that air vane. I don't know why it's stuck on there like that. It's just funny that people just attach things to whatever's handy instead of putting it where it belongs. This one may be attached to that other spring, which they kind of do if they're in the right place, but this one is not. Okay, that's been stretched out and pulled out, so I'm trying to get both of these off of here now. Let me slip this guy out of there. There we go. So he's out. And now I got to get these. Okay, so there's, got that spring off, and this is just stuck over the end, so So that's stretched out. It could be usable. And this is also stretched out and snapped off. So that's got to be redone. Let me put these over here where I don't lose them. And that's moving good. And the air gap. Let me take this spark plug wire off. Because I'm going to turn the flywheel key. Let me get a clamp to hold down that engine brake. So the gap on this side to me looks like it's too big. Let me show you what I mean. I'm talking about the air gap of the coil. See this gap right there? Very small gap. But if you look at that one, see, that is big. You can almost get the tip of that screwdriver in there. So I'm going to redo the air gap using my milk jug strips. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that this, since that blade looked kind of damaged, it may have hit something with it. Well, let me get this linkage. I don't want to lose that guy. That connects to the end of that air vane. So I need to get my impact wrench on there and get this off. I'm going to go ahead and take the engine brake back on because I want some resistance. I need to get some of that debris out of there. So let's do that. So where's my trash can so I can dump it in there. I got to be able to get to the edges of that nut, and there's so much dirt and grass in there you can barely even see the nut. So getting all this out of there, scraping around to where I can show you what I'm talking about. See all that? It was all is almost covered up the nut. Oh, there's some wildlife in there. It's one of those stink bugs. Thought he could hide from me in there. And he was doing a good job of that. I think to do the rest of this, I'll get me some needle nose pliers or maybe my flat nose pliers. And grab this debris like that. Put that in the trash can. I've got to be able to get to the edges of that nut. That's looking a lot better. Back when I first started doing this, I used to use a breaker bore to get these nuts off, but an impact wrench is really the best thing. Let me get my ear protection on. I just want to make sure that the flywheel key is okay. To view the flywheel key, you got to take this off. And Need to get a wire brush so I can see. No, that's pretty darn good. That lines up well. So this flywheel key has not been sheared, and if it's been bumped, it's just very, very tiny. So I think it'll be fine. So that's a relief. I don't have to take the flywheel off. So let's put this all back together. While I've got this on, I'm going to drop the debris out. Okay, got that on. This all goes back on. With the impact wrench. Let me put up my headphones. I don't need those anymore, at least not now. So what we're going to do now is reset the air gap. That really does look too big over there on this one. So to do that, I've got to get a 1/4 inch socket and loosen these. Yeah, that one was, see, that one was loose over there. Okay, that's loose enough now where I can move this coil. This one is just barely touching the magnet, so that must be the magnet right there. See that? That's the magnet. So I'm going to bring it on around. No, I'm not, because I got the brake on. I'm going to bring it on around to where the magnet starts to pull the coil in. See there, it's starting to pull it in on that side. I'm going to bring it around this way. That's really grabbing it good. All right. So now I can grab the coil and pull it either this side or that side away and do them one at a time. Let me go get my milk jug strips. I cut a ton of these off a milk jug and just leave them in my toolbox. And so now I'm going to grab this and try and pull it away. Okay, as I pulled it away on that side, I put the milk jug strip in there. Boop. And so now the magnet is grabbing again. And I do this side, and I'm going to push on this side. That's good. Okay, so now the magnet has pulled it in. And the little milk jug strip is going to give me the perfect gap. So let's snug it up. Get a bit more. There we go. And there. All right. Now sometimes these will just slip right out, and sometimes you have to turn the wheel to get them out. Let's see if they'll just come out. Nope. Nope. All right, so I'm going to turn the flywheel and try to grab them as I'm turning it. Boop, now they come out. I'm turning, now they come out. It's okay. So now when I look at that gap over there, it looks much, much better. Let me show you what I mean. See, that's very small gap. So that's adjusted now. But I do need to correct that. That guy is about to come off of there. See that connection that needs to. Looks like it's been bent down. Now to reinstall that, the best thing to do is to get some needle nose pliers and grab the sides of that electrical connection right here and try to push it back on there. I don't know why that thing is, I'm going to take it off and then put it back on. Let's try that. Now I just tore the plastic there. Okay, so I think that'll be okay. This, even with that broken plastic, but I just think that this needs to be a little higher up. So I'm going to try and bend it up this way. Get it where it's sort of straight, you know. I don't see any problems with the kill wire. Looks like everything's connected. I wish I hadn't broken that plastic, but I think it'll be okay because it's not touching anything, you know what I mean? That's a tight fit though, geez whiz. Why is it like that? A tight wire. Come here, you. I gotta get it, slip it on the end of that thing. Okay, that definitely looks better. It's in a better location. And I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna move it off to the side because it may interfere with the, putting the tank on there. There, okay, so it's out of the way now. I don't see any problem that that's going to create. That's not normal. That's for that much to be shown. It should be flush up against there, but I think it'll be all right. I think it'll run all right. All right, so when you come back, I'll have a new tank installed and we'll go over the correct linkage.